Sup you beautiful people. Hope you've had a fantastic day. Welcome to part 1 of What If Naruto was taken by Yoda and trained to become a Jedi Knight. If you guys enjoyed this what if, comment down below and let me know. And go ahead and check out other what ifs in the channel after watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like, and also share this video with your friends. So now let's start this video. The unknown regions of the galaxy are a vast expanse of space that has yet to be properly explored. It has long been the source of many tales and wonders parents have told to their children before bed. Many have tried to venture off into the unknown region, situated in the west part of the galaxy, and far beyond the outer rim. Seeking after the many systems that have yet to be explored, the many resources yet to be exploited. However, long ago, the region was once a seat of power for a very old, very ancient empire that ruled with an iron fist. It was an empire forged upon slavery and aggressive expansion. It was an empire that predated the Republic, the Jedi, and the Sith. A very old and ancient empire indeed, yet, like all empires, it withers as the sands of time tick onwards. However, the after effects of that empire can still be seen. Far into the unknown regions, deep enough that one might even call it the edge of the galaxy, lies a star system. And that system is a planet with lush forests, large deserts, massive oceans, and a vast expanse of mountain ranges. It seemed like your average planet where life had found a way to thrive. Expect in a unique way. He's done it again. A man shouted to his comrade as he gazed up at a large rocky formation with a frown, lip curled into a nasty snarl. Why is the Hokage always letting him get away with vandalizing the monument? Questioned the female as she shook her head and bore her teeth in a sneer. The Hokage Monument, an iconic monument to display the visage of the 4 greatest men the village had ever known, carved into the side of a large mountain that overlooked the village below. The people greatly respected the Hokage. After all, they had all led the village through troubling times. "You'll never catch me at that speed," shouted out a young boy, clad in a horrible orange jumpsuit. It wasn't the jumpsuit that was repulsing, it was the color, really, a very vibrant sunset orange that made the eyes scream in pain. The boy ran, leapt, and skidded through the village at great speeds, while being chased by uniformed adults, all trying fruitlessly to catch the orange eyesore. "Get back here," one of the adults yelled. He was wearing a few bandages on his left arm and some holsters on his right, along with a vest. Tied around his head was a forehead protector, with a metal plating on the front consisting of a leaf engraved into it. "How's he this ass?" Another one shouted as they all stumbled and keeled over to catch their breaths. They were being outrun by a freaking kid. He wasn't even a real genin yet. "Must be the work of that demon," one of the men replied with venom in his voice. It was clear that the man was no fan of that kid. However, he was silenced by the next man. "Are you crazy? What if someone hurt you?" The third's law is still in effect, his comrade in arms reprimanded him in a hushed voice. The man just shrugged. "The village hasn't done too good of job at hiding it now, have they?" The man dismissed his colleague before returning to chase after the little orange speed demon. The other man sighed as he jumped on top of a buildings and began his search. They failed to notice a section of the wall behind them peel off, revealing the blonde-haired kid they were rushing after. The boy only looked at the retreating figures of the 2 men chasing him, trying to figure out what they meant. This wasn't the first time he was called a demon, but in all his years he still did not know why was he called such a thing. And they call themselves ninjas. The boy's expression changed from the sulk into a grin as he laughed at the so-called ninjas. Clearly, they weren't anyone special if they couldn't track down a single kid. His laughter was cut short as a shadow was cast down upon him, a large shadow. The boy started to nervously laugh as he slowly turned around. Standing behind him was a very tall man, whose most dominant feature was the scar that traveled across his one cheek, over his nose and to the other. "Hey, Iruka-sensei," the boy stated as the setback stared down at him with anger, something the boy had gotten used to over the years. "Naruto, first you skip class and then you go and vandalize the monument. You're in a lot of trouble." Iruka hung on those last few words. Naruto huffed and turned his head away from his sensei. Whatever he replied, this caused the man's anger to rise as he raised a fist and brought it down upon the blonde mop of hair. "Don't whatever me, you little brat. You're going to clean the monument from your latest act of vandalism. After class, that is." The man yelled out as he restrained the boy with some rope, as if he was some sort of criminal, which in a way he was. That afternoon, Naruto groaned as he watched the Hokage monument. His sensei had other things to attend, leaving him alone to clean up his mess. At first, he had thought about simply leaving. Sure, he had painted the monument, but how could they not see it was an improvement? Boredom ultimately set in as the sun began to approach the horizon. "I guess it's time to head back to the house," Naruto thought as he left the monument unfinished. The sun had already begun to set, painting the sky with an orangish color similar to his jumpsuit. He walked slowly on his way home, but along the way he grew hungry and started to run back home. It wasn't long before he arrived home. More like back to the dump. He thought as he nearly tripped over an empty bowl entering his small apartment. It was run down, smelled like garbage, and was an overall mess. Yep, this was a dump alright, but it was his dump. This was the home the third had given him after he could take care of himself. Entering the small kitchen, which was really an extension of the living room, he opened a cabinet and pulled out some instant ramen. He readied some water to boil and waited. Closing his eyes, he took in a deep breath. That feeling, it's back again, he thought as he pondered the strange energy around him. It wasn't chakra, it didn't feel like the chakra he'd used in his exercises. It was different. He could feel many different life forms around him, they all soaring in the sky, the crickets chirping in the grass, the bats awakening in the trees, but the strangest thing was that all these life forms felt connected. My senses lately have always felt so clear. It's as if I can see everything, feel everything. He continued to feel the world around him. However, his experimentation was cut short as his mind was bombarded by some strange images. Images of war, of soldiers clad in white armor, of these strange warriors wielding some strange weapons that glowed. A rasping breath echoed its way into his mind. Then, he saw the most disturbing of all images, genocide. Thousands were slaughtered, men, women, and children. He turned to see a large menacing figure clad in black armor that reached out to grab him. His eyes shot open as sweat poured down his forehead, his breathing labored, the horrifying echoes slowly faded from his mind. What was that? He questioned himself as he stood up, a bit disoriented from the experience. It was the strangest event with these powers of his. He had discovered them on accident a while back, and had no luck figuring out what it was. It was clear to him that no one else seemed to possess this strange power. As if they would help even if they did. He was broken out of his thoughts as he heard the signature whistling of steam from his kitchen. Crap. The water. Naruto yelled as he quickly ran to grab the kettle, however, in his rush he accidentally grabbed the more metallic part of the kettle. As soon as he grabbed it, his hand recoiled back from the heat. However, as he drew his hand back, an invisible force seemed to pull the kettle off the stove, the water spilling over. What's going on here? He questioned himself in disbelief. Did he do that? No, that's impossible. He didn't launch any kind of attack, in fact, he hadn't seen anything touch the kettle. His thought grew frantic and then suddenly came to a stop. He gulped as he began to sweat. Is it a ghost? He stuttered out as he looked around carefully. The odds of his apartment being haunted by some ghostly being were quite likely. After all, it looked like someone was murdered here long ago. He slowly approached the kettle and picked it up carefully as to not offend any spirits. However, he quickly dropped it with a yelp as he heard a knock on his door. His heart began to beat faster and faster as he slowly turned towards the door. It didn't help that it was dark outside, and only a single light source illuminated the hallway to the door. Please be Iruka-sensei coming to scold me, please be Iruka-sensei. He prayed Iruka had noticed his unfinished work and was coming to make him finish the job. He slowly made his way to the door, sweat pouring down his forehead. With a trembling hand, he grabbed onto the knob of the door and gulped. This is it, he thought, readying himself for the worst. Time stood still as he slowly opened the door and found a green imp. What the hell? He questioned as he stared down at a strange green being. He was short, even shorter than him, yet the green little creature used a cane. The little thing had pointy ears and seemed quite wrinkly. It wore a robe the size fit for a toddler. The unknown creature seemed to be giving him a smile. Found you, I have. It spoke. It talked. Was he dreaming? Yes, this had to be a dream. He must still be experimenting with those strange powers of his, or it could have been that expired milk. This was all too much for him to handle, and so he did the next best thing, he fainted. The green little creature blinked as it stared at the boy. Expected a reaction like this, he did not. A few minutes later, Naruto groaned out as he sat upright in his bed with one of his hands massaging his head. He had the strangest dreaming apparently. First, some ghosts knocked over his kettle. Second, a strange green creature had knocked on his door. I should really get some fresh milk next time. Naruto muttered with a sigh as he got out of his bed and headed to the kitchen to grab some water. Awake, you are. Good. He heard a voice, thought it sounded old and odd, given how the words were spoken. Yeah, I'm good, wait a minute, Naruto shouted as he turned around to find that green little creature. Wait, you say? The little creature hummed as Naruto now looked at it with curiosity. It wasn't human, that was a given. What are you? A frog. Toad. Naruto questioned as the creature laughed, even the way it laughed sounded odd to him. A frog? Me? No. It answered as Naruto's sweat dropped. What was up with this little creature? Then what are you? Naruto questioned as he took a seat. The creature hummed and hobbled over to a chair and jumped on top of it. Naruto's jaw almost fell to the ground. That chair was too tall for it and it jumped on it. Okay, who are you? Naruto questioned seriously. The little green creature looked at him with a smile. Grandmaster, I am the little thing, answered as Naruto almost fell out of his chair. That's not an answer. Naruto questioned as the creature laughed. An answer, it was. Perhaps not the answer you seek. It answered back, causing Naruto to simply sigh. It was clear that the little green creature was smarter than it looked. Grandmaster of what? Naruto questioned. Maybe this creature from some super secret ninja village. The Jedi, I am. It answered as Naruto raised an eyebrow. What's a Jedi? Naruto questioned. Was it a type of ninja he never heard of? Maybe an organization like the Anbu? Protectors, they are. Protect the galaxy, we do. The creature answered as Naruto was now lost. What the hell is a galaxy? Okay, I didn't get any of that. Who are you again? Naruto questioned, wanting to know the name of this odd creature was talking to. Yoda, am I? The creature answered as Naruto nodded. It was clearly that whatever he was a male, given his vocals and his name. What an odd name. Naruto stated as Yoda laughed before he pointed his cane at Naruto. And what is your name, young one? Yoda questioned as Naruto grinned and pointed at himself with a thumb. Me? I am Naruto Uzumaki, and I am going to be Hokage someday. Naruto introduced himself as Yoda hummed and nodded. A strong name, it is. Maelstrom, it means. Not wrong, am I? Said Yoda as Naruto's grin got wider. Finally. Someone who didn't call him fish cake. Yeah, and you better remember it. Naruto stated as Yoda laughed. Clearly, this boy was more than he seemed. The force was unusually strong with this one. It had to be, after all, he wouldn't have left the Jedi Temple and journeyed into the uncharted edges of the galaxy to find one boy. Guided me, has the force, yet clouded the future is. Yoda thought, not knowing what the future held for this boy, but it was something grand. However, there was something else about this child. Looking around the room, he noticed that there wasn't much, only the essentials one needed to survive. Food, water, clothes, and a bed. That was it. No pictures, no luxurious items, nothing. If Yoda were a Padawan, he might have thought that Naruto was living like a Jedi. Hey old man. Naruto shouted out as Yoda raised an eyebrow. Old, I am? He questioned him, acting a bit surprised at being referred to as old. You kind of are. I mean, look at you. You got wrinkles, you use a cane to walk around, and you hobble while you walk. I bet you're as old as the third. Naruto proclaimed as Yoda chuckled at that. He was far older than Naruto had assumed. Old, am I, but also wise. Yoda stated, establishing that fact that his old age had made him wise throughout the ages. Naruto snorted. Whatever, old man. How did you find me? How come I've never heard of Jedis and galaxies and creatures like you? Naruto questioned, not knowing what Yoda was, other than this Grand Master. Guided by the Force, I was. Led me to you, the Force has. Yoda replied as Naruto gave him a blank stare. Okay, first off, what is this Force you speak of? Then tell me why you came here. Naruto demanded as Yoda hummed. Clearly, it would hard to explain this to the boy, as this planet was quite some ways off from the known galaxy, and hadn't achieved space travel or even an industrial revolution of sorts. My ally is the Force. And a powerful ally it is. Life creates it, makes it grow. Its energy surrounds us. Yoda lectured as Naruto's head was now spinning. For an 8-year-old, this was all crazy talk that made no sense. Yoda knew that the boy had no idea what he was talking about, but he went on. Ask you why I come. Simple, strong you are with the Force. Yes. Very strong. Created powerful disturbances, you did, years ago. Searching for the cause, I have been. Yoda answered the second part of the question, however, there was more to it than that. Yoda is considered a very wise and powerful Jedi, one who is very strong with the Force. Naruto however ruffled his hair in confusion. I still don't get it. Naruto stated as Yoda hummed before he thought of an idea. Neither woman was with child, did you not? Yoda questioned as Naruto raised an eyebrow. What are you? Naruto started off before his eyes whitened. He remembered that day 3 years ago. He had congratulated a woman for being with child in hopes of having someone noticing him rather than ignore him. The woman in return got angry, claiming that just because she was on the heavy side didn't mean she was pregnant. This earned him a lot of angry glares from the people around. Thinking that it was an honest mistake, he had apologized. However, 9 months later, the very same woman was holding a newborn. Yeah, I guess I did know, but how did why? Naruto muttered out. No you did, but how? Yoda continued as Naruto was left speechless. How did he know that the woman was pregnant all those years ago? All I remember was this feeling and a voice in my head. Naruto started to explain as Yoda nodded. Guided by the Force, you were. Of the life within her, the Force told you. Yoda explained as Naruto was now deep in his thoughts. Was it really this Force? These abilities of mine, are they really this Force he speaks of? Naruto questioned himself as he thought over it. Now that he did think about it, there were many times he would gain a sense of clarity and understanding of his environment, but that mostly happened during fights. Then his thoughts came back to those visions he had. Wait, then those images, those visions I had today. Naruto questioned as Yoda raised an eyebrow. Paris, the Force was telling the boy something. Images. Visions. Possible futures, the Force tells you of. Yoda stated, well, the Force did send various visions of the future, they were all the possible future, nothing solid. But it felt so real. All the death, destruction, and chaos. Naruto said as Yoda's facial features turned serious. What images did you see? Yoda questioned. Clearly the Force was trying to tell the boy something important. I saw these strange warriors clad in white armor. Genocide of thousands of men, women, and children, most armed with these strange glowing swords. I could feel their deaths, the pain, the suffering, and that terrible sound. Naruto answered as a tear rolled down his cheeks unknowingly. Yoda hummed once more. This was truly a disturbing possible future the boy had received. No, not of these warriors, do I? But, no I do, of these swords. Yoda responded as he pulled out a strange device and activated it. A green energy shot out and leveled out. Naruto was awed at the strange piece of technology. Those are the swords. Those are the ones I saw in my vision. Naruto said, surprised by the sword. The lightsaber, it is. The weapon of a Jedi. Yoda stated as Naruto dumbly nodded, not knowing what lightsabers were really. He slumped back into the chair and sighed. This was like a dream. Everything was happening way too fast. He, an 8-year-old child, was being exposed to so many things that didn't make any sense. Sense conflict within you, I do. Yoda questioned as Naruto looked down, his features hardening. Why? Why me? Naruto questioned as Yoda hummed. It was a reasonable question, coming from an 8-year-old child, more so if the said child was from a backordered world. Works in mysterious ways, the Force does. Sense potential greatness within you, I do. Yoda answered as trustfully as he could. He himself didn't know why the Force chose a child that knew nothing of the known galaxy, but he trusted the Force. It was his guide that led him here. I don't know much about this Force thing, but I am starting to like it. There's no way I'm not becoming Hokage now. Naruto boasted with a grin as Yoda chuckled. There was something about this boy that gave off this warm feeling. Become this Hokage, you very well could. However, not possible it is, if you choose to join the order. Yoda busted Naruto's bubble as he looked at him as if he had grown a second head. What do you mean it's not possible? And why would I join this order? Naruto questioned as Yoda sighed. This was part of why the Jedi took children away when they were just infants, with the parents' permission that is. Learn to use the Force, you must. A dark path you could follow, if unchecked is its influence. Yoda stated as Naruto looked at him confused. What do you mean a dark path? Naruto questioned, flashes of how they looked at him as if he was a demon, a monster. Two sides of the Force, there are. Light and dark. Walk the path of light, the Jedi do. The dark path, did the Sith. Great power lies in the dark side, but also great pain and suffering. Yoda explained as Naruto gulped. He wanted to be strong, to prove everyone wrong, and the best way to do that was to be Hokage. Now this green creature was telling him that would never be possible if he should learn the ways of the Force. But being the Hokage is all I have. It's the only dream I know. Naruto protested as he jumped out of his chair. Then new dreams, you must follow. Fast, the galaxy is. Much is there to do. Yoda stated as Naruto sighed and looked towards the window. He could see the Hokage monument from here. How he dreamed of seeing his face being part of that monument. He then turned towards Yoda and steeled himself. Nah. I'm fine right here. I'm going to become the Hokage one day, and then everyone will acknowledge me. I'll learn these fancy schmancy Force powers of yours on my own. Naruto said with a stern bravado. Yoda grew concerned. For someone as potentially powerful as Naruto, letting him learn the Force on his own would be dangerous. Learn the Force on your own, you must not. Grave danger, I sense would come. Fall to the dark side, you could. A threat to the galaxy, you might not be, but to your friends and home, you could be. Even if his planet's technology was light years away from hyperspace travel, it still wouldn't bode well for the people of his home planet. Friends and home. Well, I don't have any of the first one, but the Leaf Village is definitely my home. Naruto stuttered out, but Yoda saw right through his facade. Think of this place as home, do you? Remember, a master of the Force, I am. See through you, I can. Yearn for friendship, you do. A place to belong, you desire. Become this Hokage, you want, but realistic, that goal is not. Yoda said quite harshly. He felt guilt using Naruto's feelings against him, but the potential danger was too great. I'll make friends one day. Once I become a great ninja, everyone will pick me as the 5th Hokage. Then everyone will want to be my friend. Naruto said, his conviction growing flimsy. Elected, the Hokage is. Elected, how would you be, if well-liked, you are not? Yoda's words cut deep into Naruto. He hadn't thought about that. He had always thought if he just became the strongest ninja in the village, eventually everyone would choose him as the next Hokage. Naruto couldn't process that information, and so his first reaction was to get angry at the person responsible for this confusion. Then I don't care about becoming Hokage. Konoha Village is still my home. Naruto snapped. He was about done with this little frogman. Home, this is. Feel like home, this does not. Where the Force takes us, is our home. The destiny you have, young Naruto. Tether yourself to false concepts of home, and squander it, you will. Yoda stubbornly refused to back down. Yoda's questions had really got Naruto thinking about his future. He had no friends, and the few that he considered friends he saw in the academy from time to time. But the Leaf was his home, right? What kind of home shuns and abuses a child? Naruto thought as he started out the window, towards the Hokage monument. They wouldn't make him Hokage just because he was strong. No, a Hokage was chosen because they were respected by the people. No amount of strength could force someone to love him. Hell, most of them wouldn't even care if he vanished. They would celebrate it instead. He sighed as he thought over his choices. Stay and live the rest of his life in the Leaf, trying to become Hokage of a village that shunned and hated him, or leave and see worlds beyond his where he wouldn't be ignored without reason. In a sense, it would be like an adventure. A vast galaxy, filled with the unknowns. It really was a tempting and a logical choice. He said that these powers will endanger people around me if I don't do something to train them. Naruto thought as his fists tightened into balls. They would hate him more if he harmed someone simply because he didn't know how to control his power. He took in a deep breath before exhaling. He had made his choice. Fine, then let's go. Naruto stated as Yoda raised an eyebrow. Say goodbye to no one, you will. Yoda questioned as Naruto looked down sadly. There's no one to say goodbye to. You can use the force. You know my instructors at the academy hate me, the villagers ignore me, the other children don't play with me. The only one who might actually care about me is Old Man Hokage, but it doesn't matter. So, let's go, the sooner we leave, the better. Naruto said as he stood up and began to gather his things. Yoda merely sighed. Sensed sadness within him, I do. Yoda thought as Naruto gathered the things he needed, mostly clothes and some practice shuriken. Your weapons, you will not need them. He said as Naruto ignored him, attaching this small holster to his right thigh. He knew why the child was sad and angry. He was leaving the only home he knew, even if that home had ignored him for most of his life. Led the way, old man. Naruto said as he grabbed his bag. He was leaving the village, and every single rude person in it, behind. He still somewhat hoped in his heart that after mastering this Jedi thing he could come and become Hokage one day. Yoda nodded and started to head out, at a very slow pace. Naruto exited his apartment with Yoda and shuddered a bit. The night was quite chilling. As he followed Yoda, he wondered how no one was throwing questionable look at Yoda. Not to be rude, but why is no one looking at you? Naruto questioned Yoda, who chuckled. Weak, their minds are. Easily manipulated by the Force, they are. Yoda answered cryptically as Naruto's sweat dropped. What did he expect from this old man? An actual answer. He didn't know how long it took them, but they walked on and on, passing the gates of the village and through the woods that surrounded the village. How much longer? Naruto questioned, a bit annoyed. Patience, it is the beginning of the Jedi. Yoda responded as Naruto rolled his eyes. Sure. Naruto replied as Yoda finally stopped. Naruto's jaws almost fell to the floor as he saw this odd thing before him. What is this? Naruto questioned as Yoda started to board the strange structure. A starship, this is. Yoda answered as Naruto shook his head and followed Yoda into the starship as Yoda called it. As he walked through the hallway, he found it quite large on the inside. As he followed Yoda, they entered what Naruto thought was a gathering area for the crew. On the right wall of the ship were some letters and numbers. YT-1760. Naruto questioned as dropped his stuff on one of the tables. The ship's model, that is. Yoda responded, from a different area of the ship. Naruto started to explore the ship, finding many different rooms, mostly for the rest of the crew that was missing from the ship. Then he stumbled into the room where Yoda was. The end of the room consisted of glass, and he could see the forest outside. There were many different buttons and other pieces of technology around the room. What room is this? Naruto questioned. It wasn't crew quarters, that was for sure. The cockpit, this is. Pilot the ship, from here you can. Yoda answered as he was punching in some numbers. Naruto marveled at it, but stumbled as the ship shook. What's going on? Naruto questioned as the forest started to descend. He walked up to the cockpit and once again he was given a shock of his lifetime. They were flying. Holy, we're flying. Naruto yelled, while looking down at the forest below that was getting smaller and smaller. Taking a seat, I recommend. Yoda advised with an amused smile. Naruto blinked, but was suddenly thrown back as the ship started to accelerate at great speeds. You could have told me that before, old man. Naruto yelled at Yoda, who was chuckling at the blonde's expense. What the two of them didn't know was that they had changed the future of Naruto's world and that of the galaxy as a whole. 4 years earlier. Grandmaster Yoda is considered the wisest Jedi in all the Order. After all, he was over 800 years old. However, over the past few years, something has been amiss about him. While one might usually have found him teaching younglings or counseling young Jedi, he recently has been going in and out of the library, traveling to different planets, searching for something. Going through many holocrons stored within the depths of the temple vaults to no avail. One could also find him mediating almost all day, sometimes avoiding sessions of the council and so on. The other Jedi Masters began to worry. What had the Grand Master found that had all his attention? With all due respect, Master Yoda, I think you should take one of us with you. Mace Windu stated as he and the rest of the Jedi Council had gathered in the temple's hangar. Why? It seemed like Master Yoda was going on a journey. Alone, I must. Call to me alone, the Force, as Yoda replied as Mace Windu sighed. Yoda was being quite stubborn about this, saying how this was the will of the Force. But what has attracted your attention for you to be this concerned? Jedi Master Plo Koon questioned as he stroked his mask. Had the Grand Master seen visions? No, I do not, Yoda replied as he started to board his transport as the Jedi Council looked at each other. So not only was Yoda going on this journey, but he also had no clue as to what he was looking for. The Force did work in mysterious ways it seems. If this is what you wise. May the Force be with you, Windu stated as the ramp closed, and the ship slowly began to ascend before launching out of the hangar, heading straight towards space, and to wherever Yoda had wanted it to go. It would be nearly 4 years later when Yoda would return. Present day. Holy crap. Look at the size of those buildings. Naruto shouted out as he marveled at the sight of Coruscant skyline. They almost reached the heavens above. Yoda smiled at Naruto's enthusiasm. Naruto was still a child, despite the maturity he showed from time to time. Vast, the galaxy is. Much larger structures there are. Yoda stated as Naruto looked at him in awe. He couldn't imagine structures larger than the ones he was witnessing. It was impossible. If you say so, I'm just glad that we're gonna land soon. I was going to go crazy if I had to spend another month in this ship learning basic. Naruto said with mild annoyance. Hyperspace travel was cool at first, but seeing all the blue, black, and white lights was driving him insane as he studied the primary language of the galaxy. A month of studying had given him a decent understanding of the language, but he still had much to learn about the galaxy as a whole. The light freighter shot through the skylines of Coruscant and approached the Jedi Temple. As it approached the hangar, it slowed down and entered the hangar and was quick to land. You know, I didn't expect you to be one hell of a pilot, old man. Naruto complimented Yoda, who chuckled in his own way as he jumped out of pilot's chair and began to head out. Naruto was quick to follow as he grabbed his bag, along with a few of the water balloons Yoda had been teaching him with. Naruto was far too excited to learn how to use the Force, and rather than punish him for his eagerness, Yoda had opted to use balloons as targets to levitate and toss around, a sort of game of catch where either could only use the Force to block the balloons. They were filled with water halfway through the training to increase both the difficulty and the consequences for Naruto. If he pulled them too hard, they would come smacking right into his face and soak him. Hey, wait up. Naruto shouted out as he ran after Yoda, who chuckled while he hobbled out of the ship. Not long after Naruto ran out of the ship after Yoda, he ran face first into something soft, yet firm, and bouncy. It felt like he ran into 2 plush pillows, and for a moment, he wanted to lie down and take a nap before he came to his senses, and realized he had collided into someone's backside. Hey, watch where you're going, brat. Running into me like that. The person he ran into happened to be a female in her teens. Naruto looked up and almost did a double take. She had shoulder-length silky blonde hair with a strange-looking braid, and pale blue eyes, just like him. The only difference between the two were the skin tone and the fact that Naruto had whiskers on his cheeks. At first, Naruto blushed, but quickly shook his head and stood up. Me? You're the one standing in everyone's way. Naruto yelled back as he shot her glare. The adolescent girl looked down at him, taken aback by the boy's lip. What? You're the one who was running recklessly through the hangar. She countered, only to receive a glare from Naruto. If she could call it that. He was pouting and glaring at her, and he looked so damn cute doing it too. The fact that his whiskers were adding to his cuteness was just overkill. The young woman resisted the urge to pinch his cheeks in her hands, and let her scowl relax into a more passive expression. Seeing this, Naruto smirked and quickly threw a water balloon at her, and it hit her dead on. Ha! Naruto yelled as he chased after Yoda, leaving the young woman in a state of disbelief. Was she really just pranked by a kid? Quickly breaking out of her trance, she turned on her heel and began to chase him, the scowl on her face returning 100-fold. Hold it right there, you brat. She yelled as Naruto simply laughed as he sprinted down the large hallways, passing Yoda, who shook his head, but you could see a small smile on his face. Already causing trouble, is he? Yoda asked himself with a chuckle as the teen girl ran past him. Naruto ran as fast as he could, turning the corners fast, dodging the many younglings, Padawans and even some Jedi Knights. However, this girl wasn't about to give up the chase so easily. She was just as fast as he was, and there was no way she wasn't going to teach this prankster a lesson. When I get my hands on you. The female Padawan bellowed down the hall as Naruto laughed at her attempts to catch him. How are you gonna do that with your current speed, slowpoke? Naruto taunted as he looked back while turning a corner. Big mistake. Once again, he bumped into someone. This time, the Force knocked him back on his rear as he looked up. It seemed that he had bumped into a male this time. The young man had short light brown hair with a long braid hanging over the front of his shoulder. His gray-blue eyes gazed down at him with a raised eyebrow. Someone stop that Kai Kenobi. The girl stopped after rounding the corner. The young man named Kenobi looked up at her and blinked and then back to the child, and gave him an amused smile. Well, hello there. Kenobi said with a small smile as he offered Naruto a hand up. Right back at you. Naruto responded as the female Jedi got a sweat drop. Really? You bump into me and I get a water balloon in my face, but you bump into him and all he gets is a greeting. She questioned between labored breaths as the adrenaline wore off. Naruto simply shrugged and turned back to her. He didn't accuse me of anything. He responded with a smirk as the female fumed at him while the young man chuckled. Chasing down younglings again. Maybe you did need to cool off, Siri. The man named Kenobi mocked her after noticing her soaked hat and robes. The joke at her expense made Naruto burst into a snicker as the young woman rolled her eyes. You would be chasing after him too if he threw a water balloon at you. She countered as Kenobi began to laugh. Oh dear, it seems that the great Siri Tachi has been outclassed by a youngling. Kenobi stated with a chuckle as Siri growled. However, before she could say anything, she heard a chuckle behind her. Turning around, she was surprised to find Master Yoda. Oh, Master Yoda. She said as she bowed slightly as the Grand Master chuckled. Gave you quite the chase, did he? Yoda questioned as he gestured towards Naruto, who was grinning ear to ear. Kenobi meanwhile observed the conversation. Yes, Master Yoda. This brat is surprisingly fast for his age. Siri stated as Naruto gained a tick mark. Hey. I'm not a brat. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Dadabayo. Naruto shouted, but immediately blushed. His verbal tick was something that he thought he had phased out while learning basic on the way to Coruscant. Clearly, he hadn't. Siri had taken notice of his embarrassment and smirked. Dadabayo. Does someone have an embarrassing verbal tick from his home planet? She teased as she got down to his level. She had finally got one over on him, and the defeated Naruto could only turn away in embarrassment. Yoda chuckled but started to walk once more. Come now, young one. Await us, the council does. Yoda stated as Naruto quickly followed, leaving Siri and Kenobi staring at the two. Naruto turned around briefly and stuck his tongue out at Siri, while giving her the finger as well. A frustrated huff was all she gave in response. Well, that was amusing. Mind telling me who the youngling was? He inquired as she shook her head. I have no clue. 1 second I'm in the hangar greeting Master Yoda, and the next second some brat runs into my behind. She answered as she sighed and began to head back to the hangar to prep her ship, leaving Kenobi chuckling. With Yoda and Naruto. As Yoda led Naruto to the council chambers, he thought back to the first year he had been out searching for the source of the disturbance he had felt all those years ago. He remembered how during his travel, he was bombarded by images during his deep meditations. A large creature, I saw. And then a child. Yoda thought as he made his way to the chambers. That large fox had given off an aura of power, raw power. Not only that, but it reeked of some sort of dark energy. Not exactly the dark side, but it was close enough. He didn't quite know if Naruto was the child he had seen in his visions. He banished those thoughts as the two now stood before the council chamber's door. Arrived, we have. Yoda stated as Naruto nodded. While Yoda had explained to him on the ship that he would have to train in the ways of the Force, he had also explained that the council would decide if he were to be inducted within the order. Naruto took a deep breath as the council doors swished open. As the two walked in, Naruto looked around the room to find many different species of alien races. Yoda had explained to him that the galaxy was inhabited by other beings, aliens as they were referred to as. It was a given as Yoda himself was an alien, so it wasn't a hard fact to accept. So, these people are all Jedi Masters. Naruto thought as he looked around the room while Yoda walked up to his chair and sat down in it. Master Yoda, we are pleased to see you returned unharmed. How are you feeling? A man with dark skin started off the pleasantries as everyone nodded. It had been 4 years since Yoda had left on his journey to the unknown regions. Only the Force knew where he had been as Yoda didn't communicate at all during the long journey. Well I am, Master Windu. Yoda replied as Naruto scoffed as the Jedi Masters turned to him and looked at him with curiosity. Who was this boy that the Grand Master had brought with him? A Force sensitive. Well, that's quite the understatement. This old man is as healthy as a horse. Naruto stated as many of the masters glared at the disrespect shown to Yoda, while some other chuckled at the boy's youthful vigor. Show respect to your elders, boy. One snake-like Jedi Master, Apor Ansisis, tried to reprimand Naruto. Naruto simply shrugged his words off, and turned to look back at a smiling Yoda. I must say, this is an odd, but welcome surprise. When Plo Koon stated as he chuckled at the boy's attitude, it reminded him much about some of the other younglings. Indeed, though I sense that Master Yoda has something to say regarding the boy. Kit Fisto spoke up as everyone turned to face Yoda, who simply sat there with an amused smile and eyes closed. Much have I to say. Strong in the Force is the boy. Learn in the ways of the Force and become a Jedi, he must. Yoda proclaimed much to the shock of most of the council. This was a break from tradition. I do not mean to question your judgment, Master Yoda, but the boy is far too old to dot. Too old? I'm barely 8. How could I be too old? Naruto brazenly interrupted Windu, an act that got him a fierce glare from the Koronite Jedi Master. I sense something dark in him. Mace Windu stated. Windu had once dabbled with the dark side, and he could feel something dark within the boy. Naruto narrowed his eyes at the dark-skinned Jedi Master. Those were the exact same eyes the villagers threw at him. Darkness, I sense in him too, but it is not his. Yoda stated, shocking the council. Was Yoda implying that something resided inside the boy? A sort of spirit maybe. If what you say is true, then perhaps the spirit of a Sith resides in him. Windu questioned. The Sith were experts in such fields, and as such, many Sith lords of the past had tied their spirits to objects, waiting to possess some poor fellow that stumbled upon their grave. It may be possible that a Sith was able to hide his spirit away inside another with their knowledge. No, not a Sith. A being of the Force, it is not. A spirit of nature, it seems. Yoda clarified as the Jedi Masters looked at each other, wondering what that meant. There weren't many beings that were not of the Force, and those that did existed were hard to detect. Only some who was extremely strong with the Force could sense them, and even then, only a few things they could learn about such beings. That explains why I can only feel the darkness, not see its origin. Jedi Master Ki-Adi-Mundi stated as the rest seemed to nod at that, though they didn't voice their opinion. At this point Naruto felt like he was being sidelined. Hey. I'm still here. And I came here to be a Jedi. And I will become a Jedi whether you old fossils allow me or not. No, I'm not just gonna become a Jedi Knight, I'll be the best of the best. I'll become a Grand Master just like Yoda. Dadabayo. He proclaimed as most of the council looked at him in shock. Some like Yoda, Plo Koon, and Kit Fisto smiled at the boy's stalwart determination. Become a Jedi, you shall. For I trust in the will of the Force. Yoda stated with a tone that left no room for discussion. Some in the council wanted to protest this blunt break away from tradition, while a few were eager to see what this boy would be able to achieve. Then might I volunteer to be the boy's instructor? Plo Koon offered as Yoda hummed, considering the option. A few Jedi Masters, like Kit Fisto, interjected. A master of order and justice, Plo Koon was. He would be rigid with Naruto and mold him into a Jedi of honor that would uphold the code, even if the initial years of breaking his habits would be most difficult and exceptionally frustrating. But this wasn't anything any Jedi Master couldn't handle, much less a member of the High Council like Plo Koon. I think it would be wise if I be the boy's instructor. After all, our personalities are quite alike. I'm sure we would have great fun together, Kit Fisto stated. Yoda saw Naruto's eyes lit up at the prospect of having fun while training. Kit Fisto was known to be a rather relaxed Jedi Master, not afraid to show his emotions. He would be a master that would nurture Naruto's eager nature, but also rein in the more unfavorable recklessness of it. I too volunteer to be the boy's instructor. I sense great power within him, power that needs to be refined and perfected. Shakti offered to some surprise. She had remained quiet until now. As a greeted from shyly, Shakti was a master of stealth, but also a master of words. Naruto had told Yoda he'd been training as a ninja on his homeworld, and he would definitely excel in that aspect under Shakti. Not to mention she might teach him to talk his way out of a fight, instead of rushing in headfirst. With all due respect, Master Yoda, if this dark energy within him tries to control the boy, then maybe it is best if I become his instructor. Out of us all, I have the strongest connection to the dark side. Even if it is not of the Force, it is definitely a dark entity. Mace Windu stated, once again shocking many. He was against the boy's induction to the order, and now he wanted to be his instructor. Yoda hummed, taking into consideration everything he knew about Naruto, his personality, his lifestyle and that of the masters that had volunteered. Mace would have been the safest choice for Naruto's master, but was the safest master necessarily the best one? Be his instructor, Master Plo Koon, will be. Teach him to be calm and collected, he will. Control the darkness within, Naruto will. Trust in the Force, we must. Yoda answered as Plo Koon nodded and stood up and approached Naruto. Well then, I shall be your instructor and hopeful master. Come with me, young one. We should find you a room. Plo Koon spoke as Naruto slowly nodded. Even though he couldn't see the eyes of this man, or even most of his face, there was this voice in the back of his head telling him to trust this man. About time. The sooner we get started, the faster I can become Grand Master. Naruto stated as Plo Koon chuckled. Patience is the beginnings of a Jedi. It would do you well to lull your anticipations. Plo Koon stated as Naruto rolled his eyes. Yoda however chuckled at that statement. It seems like Plo Koon unknowingly embarked the same lesson Yoda had when they first met. With that said, Plo Koon led Naruto out of the chambers, and to the quarters where the younglings lived. Plo Koon said as they walked that today Naruto would have for himself, exploring the temple, but tomorrow the training would begin. With that said, Naruto began to explore the temple, passing by many younglings, Padawans, knights and masters. As he passed some of the class, something caught his attention. In one of the classrooms, a blue-skinned female was practicing lightsaber form. Not that Naruto knew what it was called, but she was practicing Jirkai, using her two lightsabers, one blue and the other green, to deflect multiple blasts from training remotes. Her movements were graceful, with not a movement wasted. His attention was shifted to the female youngling. She was perhaps a couple of years older than him, but what interested him more was species she was. Those strange-looking appendages on her head had Naruto scanning through his memories. He was sure he had seen someone like her in the books he read. What was she called again? Ah, a Twi'lek. She's pretty. Naruto thought with a blush before he froze as he saw her looking at him. With him being distracted by her beauty and grace, she was easily able to walk up to him with a frown on her face. What are you looking at? She questioned as Naruto blinked before he gave out a nervous laugh. Aw, nothing. I was just thinking how pretty you looked. His nervousness and lack of vocabulary resulted in him overpraising her, and he berated himself for his stupidity. As the female Twi'lek's blush settled in, a look of confusion and embarrassment on her slender face. That was not one of the responses she had expected. Ah, I mean how pretty it was the way you moved your lightsabers around. It was really cool, like whoosh, whoosh. Yeah, that's all I meant. His words trailed off, as his mind congratulated him for his amazing save. Whatever. You should be in your classes, not roaming about, she stated as she turned on her heels and walked off, hiding her blush. Naruto, however, could only blink and wondered what was that all about. Naruto began to walk back to his room before colliding face first into a firm, flat surface after rounding a corner. He concluded it was the very toned abdominal muscles of another Jedi. Watch where you're again, you really need to watch where you're going, brat. Naruto heard a familiar voice. Looking up to meet them, he looked up to find the teen Jedi he had ran into earlier. It's you. What was your name? Seer. Sarah. Naruto fumbled through familiar sounding names as the female Jedi resisted the urge to fassip him. Her name wasn't that hard, damn it. My name is Siri Tachi. She corrected him as he shrugged. Close enough, he responded. Siri simply sighed. This boy was a riot, she was sure of that. She looked at him, this time with a serious face. She had heard that there was a new youngling that was inducted into the order. It seems that news traveled fast. So, you're the new youngling. I heard that your instructor is going to be Master Plo Koon. She stated as Naruto grinned. That grin of his practically lighted up the large hallway like the twin suns of Tatooine. Yup. And I'm going to be the greatest Jedi there ever existed, he proclaimed, causing her to raise an eyebrow. That's quite the goal, after all, there have been many great Jedi. Siri stated in feigned interest as Naruto crossed his arms and gave her a determined look. So? I'll be better than you in no time. Naruto rebuked as she chuckled at him. Really? Well, I would love to see that happen, she said in amusement as Naruto narrowed his eyes. You don't think I can do it, do you? He questioned as she shook her head with a chuckle. No, I don't doubt you, after all, the Force works in mysterious ways. Anything's possible if you work hard enough, she replied sarcastically as Naruto narrowed his eyes at her in brief suspicion before he smiled and jumped up in excitement, clearly missing the point. This was the first time, other than Yoda, that anyone believed that he would be able to achieve his goal. He might have annoyed her, but Siri didn't have the heart to crush his newfound joy with the truth. I'm surprised that the Jedi Council let you in. I mean, you're what? 6 years old, short stuff. That's still too old to be inducted into the order. I'm more surprised that your family allowed you to leave. She wondered, however, why Naruto's expression had shifted so suddenly when he heard the word family. She looked down at him and wondered why his mood did a 180. From that aloof, whimsical boy she was talking to earlier, his mood had changed to one of sulking depression. Hey, you alright? She questioned, not knowing that it caused the mood change. Naruto simply stood staring at the ground. I don't have any family. What's the word for someone with no parents? He answered as she realized her mistake. Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't aware you were an orphan, she stated as Naruto wiped his tears, shook his head, and gave her a big smile. Nah, it's alright, you didn't know. Besides, no good comes out of crying over spilled milk, Naruto responded cheerfully. He learned early that crying about it would do nothing. It wasn't going to bring back his parents back, or make other people care about him. So, he simply gave up on crying about anything too much. It was easier for him to just keep on moving, rather than asking questions that he would never have answers to. I don't know much about my family, you know. I was too young to remember when the Jedi came. For us, families are forbidden, love is forbidden. Along with many other things, Siri stated as Naruto snorted. Really? How can someone protect the galaxy if they don't care about the people that they swear to protect? When I become Grand Master, I'll change some of these stupid rules, Naruto claimed as she looked at him in surprise. You shouldn't say things like that. It's not that we don't care, we just shouldn't get too attached. Some of the masters might take great offense if you try to change the sacred traditions of the Jedi, she explained him, thought she herself didn't know her position on the matter. Then let them be mad. I'm not going to stop talking about an issue just because a few old farts are upset, Naruto answered her as she shook her head, but smiled. The boy reminded her of herself. Strong, determined, hot-headed. They could pass as siblings had Naruto not have whiskers and his tan skin. Well then, how about we break one of the traditions? She offered as Naruto raised an eyebrow before he grinned. Sure, he answered as she giggled and got down to his level and extended her hand out to him. How about we become family, little brother? She placed her other hand on his shoulder as Naruto's baby blues stared back into her sky blue eyes, visibly shocked at what he had just heard. All his life he had wanted a family. It didn't even have to be a family, just someone that would acknowledge him for who he was. And now, here was someone who barely knew him, offering him that. He didn't know when, but tears started to stream down his cheeks as he extended his small hand out and grabbed hers. Hi lady. My name's Naruto Uzumaki, and I'm 8 by the way. Not 6. He answered with a genuine smile. Siri smiled at him as she pulled him into a hug. You're pretty short then for an 8-year-old little brother. My name is Siritachi, remember? And I'm still only 17, so you'd better cut it out with that lady stuff, okay? She hadn't realized it yet, but she had just affected the future of the galaxy unknowingly. Beneath that silliness of his, he's still just a child. She thought as she let him cry on her shoulder. Unknown location. Deep within the solar system, one could find a large gate. A gate to a prison cell. The two large fixtures were held together with a paper of some kind. Behind the gate, one could find a shadowy figure. It was large, very large. The few features one could make out of it were the eyes and the ears. What is this? Why can't I feel any chakra around me? The figure, rather the creature, questioned itself. The inability to sense the chakra outside was confusing it to no end. It tried to push a strange red energy through the gate. The energy was shot right back at him. The creature growled at his failed attempt. Damn you, fourth. I hope you rot in the Shinigami's stomach for all of eternity. The creature roared at no one other than a dead man. It growled in frustration at being a prisoner for the third time, and this time in a child no less. No matter, I will break free from this prison soon enough. The creature claimed as if it was its destiny to break free from this prison of his. Its red-slitted eyes closed as the creature began to rest. It would need its energy later. With Yoda. Yoda opened his eyes as he frowned. There it was again, that disturbance in the force, but this time it was closer, a lot closer. This confirmed his suspicions. It seems like Naruto was the cause of the disturbance he had felt now and he did 4 years before. Whatever it was, he could feel a dark energy of sorts before it quickly faded it away. It faintly reminded of the energy he had felt in his vision 4 years ago. Fox, it was. Trapped it is, inside Naruto. More mediation, I need. Yoda thought as he closed his eyes and began to meditate once more, allowing the force to guide him. His mind and senses were enhanced, but surroundings changed to that of a forest. Ahead of him was a large beast, its 9 tails lashing out at everything. However, at that moment its tails and body were held down by golden chains. He turned to look towards the origin of the chains, but saw nothing, as if there was a cloud in front of him. Before he could investigate any further, a tall figure, clad in some sort of black armor, appeared before him. Now you die, Jedi. He heard a sinister echoing voice as the armored figure raised a red saber and brought it down at him. At that moment, Yoda opened his eyes. He turned towards the window and noticed that the sun had already set. He frowned as thought about the vision he had just seen. Part of it was the past, the other a possible future. Clouded, the future is. Work of the dark side, this must be. Yoda thought. What was the force trying to tell him? First it threw some visions of the past, a past that was mostly Naruto's, that he was sure of. But it was the possible visions of the future that confused him. The armored figure, the red lightsaber, and just the overall feeling of the dark side, made him realize something. The Sith might not be as extinct as the Jedis had thought. Difficult to see. Always in motion is the future. Clouded by the dark side, it is. Yoda thought as he decided to turn in for the day. He would meditate more on this later. Thanks for listening. I do hope you enjoyed. If you want the next part of this video, like, subscribe and comment down below, and turn on the bell notification. And also check out other videos that I have created and enjoy. See you in the next video. Peace.